Hey everybody, John here. And ever since we made our move with Movie Talk over to Collider, and now we're doing Collider Video, I've had a lot of people ask me about audio podcasts. And I'm getting tweets about it every day. It's in the comments every day. I'm getting Facebook messages and emails about it every day. Now, I did a little Q&A video the other day, and I addressed this a little bit, but I still have tons and tons of people asking about it. So I thought I would take a minute here and explain why we don't have audio podcasts right now, why we may never have audio podcasts, and how and why we might have audio podcasts in the near future. Okay, let's start with this. Making audio podcasts is the easiest thing in the world, and it's completely free to do. If you're able to watch this video, the chances are you have a phone, a smartphone, or a laptop or something, and that's all you need. To make an audio podcast, you just need a microphone, a computer of some sorts or smartphone, and that's about it. And you can make an audio podcast for nothing. Software for it is free and the whole bit. Then you can take that audio podcast and put it up online for everybody to hear. Now, making in-studio video shows is not cheap or easy to make. The shows like the shows we make here at Collider Video are incredibly expensive to make. We have to pay the on-camera talent. We have to pay the production talent. We have to pay the studio rental. We have to pay for the equipment and other expense upon expense upon expense. I mean, running Collider Video gets into the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to do. So having and making audio podcasts incredibly cheap and basically free, making in-studio video shows incredibly expensive and not free. All right, so when we were at AMC theaters, why were we able to do audio podcasts? Well, at AMC theaters, one of the things we didn't have to worry about doing was recouping our expenses with our media. We didn't need our shows to make money. We didn't need our podcasts to make money because the media, the shows and the audio podcasts, wasn't AMC's product. AMC is a movie theater chain, and their product is selling movie tickets and popcorn and soda in the movie theaters. We existed at AMC because our purpose was to increase brand awareness, make people aware of AMC theaters, hopefully make people feel attached to AMC theaters, and hopefully make people want to go to AMC theaters. So there was no need for us when we were at AMC to make back our money or, make our expenses back with our media because our media wasn't our product. Our product was movie tickets, and our media was simply tools to try to get people to go to our actual product, which is buying movie tickets and buying popcorn and whatnot. Now that we're at Collider, though, it's a little bit different, or really it's massively different. Now we don't have another product. Our media is our product. Our shows is our product. The videos we create is the product. And therefore, we do need to make sure that the product we produce, our videos, makes our money back so we're not losing money. That's the whole idea. One of the reasons that you never see shows like Breaking Bad or see shows like Gotham put out free audio-only podcasts of their episodes is because those shows are incredibly expensive to make, and in order for them to pay their bills, they need people to watch their shows. So that's why you won't see on iTunes the free audio-only podcast of this week's episode of Gotham. Much like, say, a very popular YouTuber like, say, Jeremy Jahns, probably the most popular critic on YouTube that there is. Jeremy Jahns doesn't have an audio podcast. Why? Because his video show is his product. He needs, in order to pay his bills and cover expenses and keep doing what he does, he needs people to watch his shows because that's how we make our money back. That's how we cover our expenses. So when we were at AMC, because the media wasn't the product itself, it was great for us to also put out audio podcasts because all we were trying to do was increase awareness, put out an entertaining product that people would like, and we didn't need to make money on it. We just needed to raise awareness of AMC theaters. And so putting out free audio podcasts along with our free YouTube shows, even though our YouTube shows made a little bit of money for us because we have an ad program there, it made sense and it was fine. However, now that we're at Collider, it becomes a little bit different. Now, if we were to do audio podcasting, we don't have a way to monetize that, not in a real way in any sense. if we were to put out an audio podcast, that actually takes away from the amount of viewers that we have of our YouTube videos. In other words, it actually costs us money. It actually makes us lose money by putting out audio podcasts. Much like Gotham, or much like Jeremy Johns, or much like the Fine Brothers, or much like other very popular YouTubers, the way we pay our bills is by people watching our shows. We don't create free, easy to make audio podcasts. We create very expensive to produce video shows. And therefore, it becomes a really bit of a challenge. Now, why we may not ever do audio podcasting is because of that challenge, that we just don't have a way to make money on those. Now, some people will say to me, but John, why don't you just go get a sponsor for your audio podcasts? And that sounds good to say, but there's a misconception out there that there are sponsors out there on the sidewalk just waiting with bags of money to give you money so they can become a sponsor of your show. And that's simply not the case. Getting sponsors for your show is very difficult to find, and talk to any podcaster. They don't pay a lot of money. Sponsorships for audio podcasts pay next to nothing. So it becomes a very difficult endeavor for us to try to do that. And I don't have the money for a professional sales team to run out and sell sponsorship to our audio podcasts. And on top of that, our audio podcast only got about 15,000 downloads a day, and it's hard to get real serious sponsorship with numbers that size, at least with my experience, and I'm very inexperienced, which just highlights again why I would need a professional sales team. We don't have the money for that, ergo, putting out audio podcasts actually hurts us in that way. So, but at the same time though, it has created an interesting dilemma here, because a lot of people who follow Movie Talk and the other shows that we do really do enjoy the audio podcast. And we want to make it as easy as possible for people to consume the product that we're doing without it costing us money and without it losing us money. Now, I've made the argument to people, it's like, hey, look, even though we don't put an audio podcast, just put the phone in your dashboard and stream the YouTube show. Well, a friend of mine gave me a really good argument as to why that is not a very good idea, because what my friend said to me is like, well, John, the problem with that is that while downloading and streaming and listening to an audio podcast may only take up 15 megs of your bandwidth, and because we all have data plans, downloading and streaming a 30 or 40 minute video show on YouTube could be like 100 megs or 120 megs, and that's not very practical. And I had to go, you know what, you're right, that isn't very practical. So that's why we haven't done an audio podcast up till now. And that's why some of the reasons why we may never do an audio podcast. But because there are so many people who want it, we want to see if we can figure out a way to compromise that and come up with a way to do audio podcasts without it costing us and losing us a ton of money. So here's an idea that came up. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, okay? You guys tell me if this is a good idea or a bad idea. But I'm just trying to think of a way that we can do audio podcasting without it hurting us and without it costing us to do it. So here is an idea that came up. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have other better ideas. I'm totally open to ideas here. One idea that got floated was, what if we did a podcast as a premium service thing, like as a paid podcast subscription for like, I don't know, $3 a month. That idea caught my attention. Here's why. Most of your favorite podcasts out there, not all of them, but most of your favorite podcasts are once a week. That means you get 4 podcasts a month. And once again, for them to make those podcasts is cheap or free for them to do, so they can just put it online and it's fine. But so that's about 4. But with a Collider Video podcast feed, you would get every week a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday Movie Talk podcast. You would get 2 mailbag podcasts. You would get a Heroes podcast. You would get a Jedi Council podcast. You'd probably get 1 movie review podcast, and then probably a couple of other special things. That means in a month, you would probably get, instead of 4 podcasts from your favorite podcaster, you would get about 40 to 45 podcasts every single month. And then this idea came up too. If we did like a subscription service for like $3 a month, or $4 or $2 or $5 or $1.99, whatever, then we would provide those 40 to 45 podcasts. And what we could do is create a new podcast that is only podcasts, exclusive to the podcast feed subscribers of, like, say, me and Schnepp After Midnight, or I don't know, something stupid like that. Because then it's free for us to just sit down and record a podcast, and we could do like one extra. So that's 4 more podcasts. Now we're getting close to 50 podcasts a month that we'd be providing for a nominal fee, but it would help us pay our bills. So, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people hate paying for anything on the internet. They want everything for free. And I totally get that because I'm one of those people. However, for people like us who it costs us a lot of money, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to create the content we do, we have to make sure we try to pay our bills. So that's why we haven't done podcasting. That's why we may never do podcasting. That's maybe a way we can do podcasting. But I want to know, what do you guys think? I'm honestly all ears. What do you think about the idea of a premium service? I mean, the YouTube channel will always be free, and no one ever has to pay to go to the YouTube channel and watch our videos there. But it would help us maybe if we charge like $3 a month to provide like 50 podcasts a month, 40 to 50 podcasts a month for like $3 or $4 or $2 or whatever. Let me know your thoughts. I want ideas. I want some good ideas, but remember, keep in mind, it has to meet the needs of our viewers and listeners. It has to meet our needs as the producers as well. So whatever idea you pitch to me, it's got to find a balance between those two things. So I'm all ears. Let's make this a collaborative effort, and let me know what you think. So thank you for listening, guys, to our little dilemma, and I look forward to reading your responses. Thanks a lot.